Howdy, guys, and welcome to Cliff Notes, and welcome to night number 40 of the overnight feed recaps for Big Brothers season 27. A happy Sunday to all of y'all. All right, 40 days and 40 nights. Isn't that like the biblical term for a long, long time? It's starting to feel like it. Y'all realize we're just about halfway through the season. We've lost a few folks, still not in the jury phase. We start with 17 house guests. You got to start trimming these folks down pretty quick. There's some house guests talking about double evictions and all that. I don't think we'll see that before the jury phase, but who knows? Expect the unexpected. But a little more expected, we did have a veto competition yesterday, and we've got to talk about that. So let's just jump right into it. We have our veto winner. The veto winner for yesterday, for day number 39, or day number 40, I think, was Lauren. Lauren has won a veto to back up the HOH that she had won previously in the season. I gotta say, I may not have predicted Lauren to win this veto competition. We know it was OTEV. I may not have predicted her to be the winner of it, but maybe I should have, because the competition was OTEV, and that takes not just athleticism, but it also takes some memory of events, keeping track of your days, things like that. Lauren, Rachel as well, since she's played the game before, but Lauren, certainly being a super fan, I think understands the value of remembering days and events and votes and things like that. So she probably was more prepared than the other folks were. So props to Lauren. She has won the veto competition. The big question now is going to be, is she going to use it or not? And that's what most of the conversations yesterday were related to, and last night. So we'll talk about all of those. Now, apparently the OTEV veto competition, it only lasted 3 rounds, which means that there were rounds where multiple people got the answers incorrect. Remember, last season it only lasted 1 round, which is incredible. But this season it only lasted 3 rounds, which means that they eliminated more than one person per round, which means it wasn't a competition that was just dependent on who could make their ways back up to the top of the ramp at the end of each round first. It was all about who had the correct answers, which certainly benefits someone who's been paying attention to days and events and things like that. All right, the OTEV character, remember, every season it's different. During my season, it was OTEV the pigeon. This year, it was OTEV the hog father. Makes me feel like I should have been there helping. They could have used my voice or something, right? But yeah, the hog father, obviously, we haven't seen it yet, but the Hogfather was the OTEV character. The players apparently were asked questions about which house guests were connected to different events. Sounds like maybe it was along the lines of who had how many votes cast for them, things like that. We don't really know yet, but we'll find out. But they had to then go find rats that were hidden throughout the play area that had different house guest names on them. We heard later Vince said, "Hey, I knew all the answers to the questions. I just couldn't find the names occasionally," and so he was a little frustrated with that. So the feeds return about 3:15 or so, Big Brother time. We see that the veto players are covered in blue gunk. For some of these house guests, for a lot of these house guests, this is their first exposure to the slime. During my season, the very first HOH, we all got covered in slime, doing color wars, hanging from logs. Not so much these house guests. So a few house guests got exposed to it for the first time. Mickey, for example, is complaining this stuff was all in her hair. It's like cement. She's gonna have to wash all of that stuff out. It is a slimy, nasty gunk that they spray on you. All right, but the feeds were returned about 3:15 or so, and we quickly realized that Lauren has won the veto on this. Morgan is mentioning that she and Lauren and Rachel all made it to the third and final round, which means that Morgan and Rachel must have both gotten that question wrong, or else they would have gone on to another round. So apparently Lauren won by default at the end by being the only one of the 3 that had the correct answer. So that's kind of how the OTEV competition went down as far as what we know so far. We've got Ashley. We've got Mickey talking about how iconic it was. She wanted to play in OTEV. She didn't want to come in last place. Well, she didn't. She came in second to last. She said, I didn't come in last, so I'm fine with that. So let's talk about some of the conversations that take place. And again, a lot of it is Lauren. Will she, won't she? And, how can we make that happen or not happen? So we've got Ashley talking to Mickey and telling Mickey that Lauren had said she probably won't use the veto come Monday. We've got Kat and Lauren in the HOH. Kat's whispering to Lauren saying, don't use the veto. But if you do, use it on Mickey. Now remember, Mickey and Riley theoretically have a little bit of a working relationship. So Kat's trying to push that. Probably don't use it at all. But if you do, use it on Mickey. All right, we've got Rachel talking to Keanu. She's telling Keanu that she doesn't want Lauren to use the veto because there's really no one else to go up on the block. She's saying, you're not going up, Keanu. If you're wondering, you're not going up. There's really not anyone else that I can put up. And Keanu mentions Ashley and Will and Ava, and Rachel saying, yeah, I'm not putting any of those up. So again, there's no one else to put up. So we need to make sure that Lauren does not use this veto. Rachel says, I'm going to follow Lauren around for the next 2 days because I know these nominees are going to be trying to convince her to use it. I'm going to follow her around and make sure that I am there as much as possible so they can't get into her head. That'll be interesting. Rachel's going to be paying attention to who's talking to Lauren over these next couple of days. She's telling Keanu again that he is not going up on her HOH. Remember, there was some conversation earlier that could Keanu maybe be some kind of a backdoor or something. That's still a possibility. She may just be telling Keanu what she knows he wants to hear, but I'm kind of thinking that's not the case. But she's saying, you're not going to go up on the block on my HOH. Keanu is talking about that, saying he's grateful and everything. That complaining a little bit that Rachel doesn't trust his game, that he sometimes has good game reads. And she's saying, yeah, really don't, Keanu. But at one point, Keanu says, look, the only people in the house that I 100% trust right now are you and Riley. Y'all are the people that I rely on and all that. The rest of the people, maybe not so much. He even mentions at one point that he maybe doesn't want to go to the very end with Vince, that he'd like to go maybe final 5 or so, but at that point, send Vince out the door. I think Rachel was a little surprised to hear that, but Keanu definitely declaring his loyalty to Rachel going forward in this game. All right, they think that Lauren could end up being the swing vote this week. So not only is Lauren faced with this task, but she whether or not to use a veto, but she may be making the final decision in terms of voting comes Thursday. We know how much Lauren likes to be the swing vote, how much she likes to make those tough decisions. So it could be a difficult week for Lauren because everyone's going to be in her ear as a result. But yeah, they're thinking she could be the swing vote. It sounds like Mickey might be their intended target over Morgan, that Rachel may be. Rachel doesn't vote, and it's not going to be a tie vote this week. So Rachel really doesn't have any effect other than just the influence that is Rachel in this house. But they're both thinking Mickey probably would be a preferred target to head out the door this week. Not Morgan, not Vince. You know, Rachel really did have 3 people to put up that I think she would be happy with any one of the 3 going home if they had to. But Mickey being the primary target. All right, we've got Keanu and Vince talking. Vince is upset, says, I just can't win. I try so hard. Every time something happens, this is where he says, I knew the answers. I just couldn't find the names when I needed to. Keanu's telling Vince, hey, don't get too hard on yourself. He's also saying, look, you maybe instead of convincing Lauren to use the veto on you, which we know Morgan and Mickey is going to do, he says, instead, tell Lauren maybe don't use the veto because you should have the votes to stay anyway, Vince. It shouldn't be an issue regardless of which of those 2 women you're up against. So it's probably better for you that the veto isn't used and someone else could go up that maybe would be tougher for you to win against, that as in Keanu, perhaps. I don't know if there was ulterior motive to Keanu saying this, but he may have a point. If as long as it's the 3 of y'all, you should be okay, Vince. He says, instead of asking her to use the veto on you, tell her to do what she wants. Don't use the veto, and instead just ask her for your vote, for her vote to save you when it comes to Thursday night, if you're still on the block and haven't won Blockbuster. All right. Ashley's talking to Morgan. She's telling Morgan that she'll be campaigning for either Mickey or Morgan to come off the block. Well, of course she will. She has no favoritism with Vince. Vince put her up week 1. She still wants Vince gone, but she's saying, yeah, Morgan, you and Mickey, that's who I'm going to be campaigning for this week. And she has already started the campaigning. She's saying, though, that what her worry is that Lauren had said before the veto competition took place, I think right after they got picked to play in it, that if she won, she probably would only use the veto if Rachel asked her to. Otherwise, she wouldn't use it. They think that Lauren is too scared to use the veto at this point in time. I tend to agree with her, with both of them. I don't think Lauren's using it this week at all. I don't think she wants to make that kind of tough decision. Better to make no decision at all and not use it, is my opinion. We'll see on Monday, but I think that's going to be the case. All right, we've got Rachel and Morgan talking for a while. Rachel is saying that she doesn't want Morgan or Mickey leaving this week. Yeah, right. I'm sure that's the case, Rachel. Could be, but I kind of doubt it. But she's telling that to Morgan. She's saying that, suggesting that, maybe my actual target isn't even on the block right now. giving Morgan just a little bit of a suggestion on something that Morgan can build on and feed on and all of that. So yeah, she's suggesting certainly that Morgan, I don't want you to go anywhere. You're not my target, and who's to say who the target could be? All right, we've got Mickey and Kelly talking a little bit. Mickey is complaining to Kelly. She's saying, Kelly, you really hurt my feelings because you had told Rachel at one point that you were close to Mickey and that you were close to me and that you could use that. And she said, that just really hurts. I thought we were getting closer. And then you tell Rachel that. And I really got my feelings hurt because you said, welcome to the party after I got nominated and you were smiling. And Kat already told Mickey a while back, said, I think she was just smiling because she was happy not to be on the block. And saying, welcome to the party, I don't see anything really vicious in saying that at all. It's just like, I've been there. And I know how you're feeling, Mickey. But Mickey took that very personally. He says, you really hurt my feelings with some of the things that you've said. Kelly apologized, said, sometimes I say things without even really thinking them through. I didn't mean anything through it. Later, Kelly tells Lauren about this and says, Mickey can dish it out, but she sure can't take it. I think Kelly's got a point there. All right, Mickey, a lot of people are, when they're on top, they're not so worried about people at the bottom. When it's the other way around, things reverse real quick. Mickey is saying that she loves Rachel, that she wants to work with her after this. She's telling Kelly this. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm buying that either, but that's what she's telling Kelly. All right, we've got Will talking to Ashley. He's saying that he thinks that Mickey is probably a bigger and more likely target to be evicted than Morgan at this point in time. Will mentioned that he said this a couple of times throughout the evening. He says, Mickey talks at you, not with you. They're recognizing that Mickey kind of tells you what she wants done and expects you just kind of buying off things. So anyway, he's pointing out that maybe Mickey doesn't always have the nicest conversations in the way she talks to people sometimes. All right, we've got Morgan and Mickey comparing notes, talking to each other a little bit. Morgan is saying that Rachel was crying at one point, or at least tearing up as she told Morgan during their conversation that Morgan was only on the block because Rachel thought Morgan was going after her, and so now she's feeling bad and she's just near tears that Morgan's on the block. She is wondering, she's taking what Rachel said about maybe my target isn't even on the block right. She's wondering if Keanu could be Rachel's actual target. No, I don't think so, but she's wondering about that. Morgan doesn't think, she's a little worried. She says, I don't think I've got the votes versus Vince if it comes down to it. Mickey, on the other hand, is saying, I'm fine. I'm fine being on the block, and I think it'll be okay if it comes down to a vote as well. Don't be too certain. Zach was pretty certain that he was going to be fine too, Mickey. Learn from some of the folks that have gone before you. All right. Morgan is saying that if it comes down to it, she will not vote out Mickey. If Morgan somehow gets off the block, the veto's used on her, she wins Blockbuster. She says, I got your back. I will support you, Mickey. And certainly the implication is I hope you got mine as well. All right. We've got Keanu and Lauren and Kelly talking to each other. Keanu's telling Lauren that, hey, if it ends up a Morgan versus Vince vote, it's probably going to be 4-4, and you're probably, Lauren, going to be the swing vote. So you need to be thinking about that. Now, Keanu later tells Vince that's probably a good thing because Lauren had said that, maybe it's on here, I'm probably getting ahead of myself, that if she used a veto, she would use it on Vince. He's saying if that's the case, then Vince, obviously you've got Lauren's vote. So if she truly is a swing vote, you should be good. So Keanu's telling Lauren that she'll probably be the swing vote. Keanu's also saying that Mickey is the actual target, that Morgan is an alternative, but really Mickey's the main one that Rachel wants out, and Keanu as well. He's saying Vince isn't the target. Vince is not who Rachel wants to go after at this point in time. Again, we know that Vince and Lauren have a deeper relationship than most people in the house. So his way of pointing out that if you don't use a veto, Vince is going to be all right. Vince is just a pawn right now. Kelly eventually asked Lauren, says, what are your plans? Just get it out there. Are you going to use a veto or not? Lauren says she doesn't think she'll use it because if she does, there's a chance that Keanu or Kelly could go up as a renom, and she didn't want either one of them going up. So she's kind of leaning towards not using it right now. Kelly is assuring Lauren again that Vince is safe, that he's just a pawn. If she doesn't use it, he's going to be fine. Keanu is saying that as long as Lauren, he said, look, I told you it's a swing vote. As long as you vote to save Vince, whether he's up against Morgan or Mickey, as long as you do that, we'll have the votes for Vince to stay. So you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about pulling Vince off. He'll be safe no matter what. Later, Keanu talks to Vince and says, "Hey, I'm Vince. I'm the best wingman in the world." He told Lauren, he said, "Look, you need to figure out who is really working with you and wants to work with you and is on your side versus someone who's just trying to kiss up to you because they're on the block." He says, "Look for the people who aren't begging you to use the veto. Instead, look for the people who are willing to work with you and do your best game and even let you not use the veto because that benefits you." So he told Lauren that, and then he immediately goes to Vince and says, "Hey, I'm the best wingman in the world. I told her to look for the people who don't want her to use a veto, and they're the ones that she should trust the most. And we already had that discussion, so I just laid it up there for you, Vince. It's perfect at this point in time." So Keanu feeling pretty good about his manipulations, his conversations so far. All right, we've got Ashley and Keanu and Rachel talking a little bit. Ashley's asking Rachel, who is her main target? Who really is your target here, Rachel? You don't have to get that information. Ashley's always asking these kind of questions, and she asked Rachel that. Keanu jumps right in and says, "Well, maybe Rachel put up three people, all three of who she'd be perfectly fine if they went home. Maybe there isn't one big target. Maybe it's three targets she's fine with going home." So he's kind of jumping in on that. Keanu says if it came down to it, he would prefer to keep Mickey over the others, and Ashley acts a little surprised, but says, "Yeah, I feel the same way. Yeah, I'd prefer to keep Mickey as well." All right, we've got Vince and Lauren talking as a follow-up to what Keanu had already told Lauren and told Vince to do. So they're talking. Vince is talking about Keanu's suggestion, saying, we talked about it. You probably, maybe you shouldn't use the veto, Lauren. If it helps you a little bit, don't use the veto. I hope I'd be okay and all that. He says, "Now I am scared of Rachel." And what her intentions may be, and do I underestimate her or not? I'm a little bit worried. So I'm telling you, if you don't want to use a veto, don't use a veto. But I am scared of Rachel. So when you talk about the veto with Rachel, can you put in a good word for me? At least kind of just do what you can to help build me up before some vote happens on down the road, or happens on Thursday. He also says, "Look, in the future, if I stick around, if I want a veto and you're on the block, I'll use it to save you. This is a weird situation this week, but trust me, I will use it to save you if we get into that kind of situation." He's telling Lauren as well that if he stays and wins HOH, that his targets next week would be Rachel and Ashley and Ava. That's who Vince would be going after. I thought those kind of interesting targets. All right, we've got Rachel and Morgan talking to each other. Rachel saying she doesn't want Morgan or Mickey leaving this week. I think I already said it. Sorry, got a repetition on here, and that maybe the person on the block isn't even who she wants on the block just yet. All right, we've got Mickey pitching to Kat. She's using the M&Ms again, and Kat's not. She didn't say anything to Mickey, but later she tells Riley she brought out those bleeping M&Ms again. But Mickey's pitching to Kat using the M&Ms to try to explain all the different scenarios. Mickey has suggested that Keanu is pushing to break up the showmance, and that Mickey therefore wants Kat to convince Lauren to use the veto so that Keanu can go up. And so, in other words, hey, Kat, Keanu said he wants to break you and Riley up, so maybe you could convince Lauren to use this veto, and we'll send Keanu out the door instead. Hey, that's she has mentioned this to Kat. Kat tells Riley that a little bit later. We'll talk about that. She's also talking about a final six of herself and Kat and Riley and Ashley and Ava and Will. Just saying, hey, just think about it. We can work together going forward. Later, Kat does tell Riley about all of this. Riley's not happy at all about it. She also told him that Kelly had said that Kelly and Keanu and Rachel have an alliance. I think that that Mickey said that Kelly had told her that Kelly, Keanu, and Rachel have an alliance. And she's also mentioning this final six or group of six that Mickey had suggested to her. And she's telling Riley, said, "I have no desire to be part of that group of four. You and me being part of that group of four. I don't want it." Didn't tell her that, but I'm not really interested in that. She's also saying that Kelly had said that Mickey had said that she wanted Kelly on jury, but was indifferent about Kat. Kelly had told her that Mickey had said that she wanted Kelly on jury, but was indifferent about Kat. So she's spilling all the beans to Riley. Riley's saying, look, I really want to call out Keanu and Mickey and Kelly, all of them, for all the stuff they're saying. And if they put you on the block, Kat, there's going to be hell to pay. And I'm just going to challenge them right now. And I want a group meeting, group meeting. He didn't use those words, but I was wondering if that was going to happen. He didn't. Keanu came over a little bit later, and he said he was irritated about all the stuff going on around, but he didn't go into any more details on that. He does tell Kat at one point that she shouldn't be talking to those people. He says their game is already in the ground. Just don't even bother talking to them anymore. You got to talk to people. You can't tell other people not to talk to other folks, Riley. But he's saying just don't even talk. I don't even want you talking to them, Kat. He does say that when he's HOH, he's putting up Keanu and Kelly and Ashley. So yeah, he definitely has some folks that he's a little peeved at right now. A little irritated is the word he used. Kat is saying that she told Lauren that they were voting out Mickey, and she says, I told Lauren we'll vote out Mickey so that she won't use the veto. And Riley's saying, yeah, I told Vince that he had the votes as well. It almost sounds like maybe they're saying things that they don't actually believe. Could they be targeting Vince, for example? I'm not sure if that's the case or not, but it certainly sounds like they are intentionally misleading Vince and Lauren about what they may do come the vote on Thursday. All right, we've got Ava and Lauren talking to one another. Ava's telling Lauren that, well, actually, this took place a little bit later in the evening, but I'll throw it here. She's saying Lauren that Lauren is going to go far in the game because she knows how to keep her mouth shut. There are a lot of people who don't know how to keep their mouth shut. We'll follow that in a second. I don't know how this scooted up here somehow. All right, we've got Rachel and Ashley, and eventually Will joins as well. Rachel is thinking that Vince is with Morgan as a number, that you can't necessarily count on either one of those to be on their side. Rachel says she knows that Morgan still wants Rachel out. It doesn't matter what she tells Rachel. Rachel knows that she still wants her out. Ashley is saying, well, at least we know where Morgan stands. Whereas Kelly, she's playing both sides. Ashley pushing hard to try to get either a Kelly or Keanu renom and get Lauren to use a veto. So she's still trying to throw Kelly under the bus and saying, yeah, maybe Morgan would come after you if she's worried about you, Rachel, and all, but Kelly, we don't even know. That's even worse situation. Rachel is worried about having to do a renomination if Lauren does use a veto. And Ashley's saying, we can't trust Lauren at all. She said Lauren is a floater. She knows that Rachel hates that term or that kind of player. She says, Lauren is a floater. She has no loyalty to anyone. We can't trust Lauren. She's going to do whatever. And so I just don't know what we can do, that we can't trust her at all. Ashley is also complaining about Keanu. She's saying he lies about everything. She said Keanu has said that I think he told me that he wants Mickey to stay, and he told Will that he wants Mickey to go. Yeah, Keanu will tell you whatever you want to hear, and that includes you, Rachel, as well. So yeah, you can't. Keanu's lying to us just as much as Kelly is right now. Ashley is saying that Keanu said he wanted to put up Riley or Kat at one point to break up the showmance, kind of what we'd heard previously. Will is saying, and I don't think he wants to do that. I truly don't think he wants to do that. I don't see. I didn't see that being said. That Keanu actually said he wanted them broken up. So I'm not sure if that's just a few people spinning that to try to put him in a negative light or not. I did not see a conversation where Keanu said he wanted Kat and Will Kat and Riley going up on the block together. All right, we've got Rachel talking. Completely non-game related, but I thought it was Rachel talking about Cameo. A lot of these house guests don't know what Cameo is. It's people that are on reality shows and other things can do little videos for people and charge a little there. Rachel's talking about that she does cameos for fans, that she only charges $30, that she tries to be fan friendly, and that she is the cheapest Big Brother cameo that you can get. Just as an FYI, I only charge $25. Not any self promotion there, but yeah, some people charge a lot. Dr. Will has charged like $1,000 at some point in time. I think Rachel mentions that at one point Carolyn Wiggler from Survivor had said something about she'd made like six-figure income just from cameos because she charged so much. Yeah, Rachel, we go a different direction with that. All right, so anyway, but I thought that's pretty funny. All right, we've got Rachel saying that Mickey had set herself up. the way she's been playing the game so far, and that she tried so hard to work with Mickey to try to get something out of her, but Mickey just wouldn't give her anything. That she just feels like Mickey has just betrayed her, and it's difficult to move beyond. Ashley thinking differently. Ashley saying, "Look, we can fix this. Well, we need to fix this." She's saying, if we can all just get in a room together, we could fix these beefs. And if we're all working together, then there are still ways for Morgan and Mickey to both stay beyond this week. Whether that's with a renom, the veto being used in renom, or someone coming off the blockbuster, she's saying we can fix this and save both Mickey and Morgan this week. Ashley a lot more invested in that than I think Rachel or even Will is, for that matter. All right, we've got Morgan and Mickey talking. Morgan doesn't think that Riley and Kat would keep her over Vince. I wouldn't think so either, but with some of the things they said, we'll have to see over the next few days what they say. All right, we've got Morgan and Vince talking. Morgan is saying that if the veto is used, then Keanu should be the renomination at that point in time. Well, of course, Morgan is still going after Keanu. Some things don't change in this house. She's also saying that Rachel said the biggest target isn't necessarily on the block, so she's holding out hope that it could be Keanu that is the actual target this week. She says she's gonna really want to talk and spend a lot of time with Lauren to encourage her to use that veto. Get ready, Lauren. You're going to have a lot of people in your ear. All right, we've got Aunt following you around, as Rachel said she was going to do. All right, we've got Kelly and Keanu talking. Kelly is saying that saying that she should let me read it. She's saying that she's saying I told Mickey that if Rachel wanted you out, Kiana, she needed to do it as a backdoor as opposed to straight off the bat. And Kiana said, "Well, why would you say that?" She said, "Well, because you've won so many competitions." And he's saying, "Yeah, but why even put that out there?" But he didn't really answer that. So she's saying, "Yeah, I said that. So if anyone comes back, yeah, I actually did say that." It's just Kelly playing all sides to some degree, trying to tell everyone what they want to hear, just being the instigator that she is. Keanu is saying that she's saying that she doesn't Rachel or Mickey, either one. It's getting late at this point, guys. I'm not sure. The main thing is she's telling Keanu that she's been trying to talk to them and try to get in their ears and all that. All right, we got Morgan talking to Ashley, Will, and Mickey, saying that she wants Keanu on the block this week. She's saying, I think that Lauren doesn't really want to make decisions. She may not do it on her own, but if she knows that we're all behind her, supporting her, encouraging her, all of that, I think we can get her to use a veto. But we're all gonna have to just spend a lot of time with Lauren and convince her to do that. All right, we've got Ava and Lauren talking a little bit. This is from a little bit earlier. I mentioned they're in the bathroom. Ava's telling Lauren that Lauren's going to go far in this game because Lauren knows how to keep her mouth shut. She's saying that if she was to get another HOH, she would certainly keep Lauren safe, that she feels like they've played enough of the game so far now. She knows who she can like and not like, and Lauren's saying the same thing. So these two trying to bond a little bit. Ava at one point says, when it comes to the veto, I'm not going to push you one way or the other, Ava. Or Lauren, whatever you want to do, I'm fine with. I don't give a bleep about it. Do what you think you need to do. They talk about the wall competition a little bit. Ava's wondering how she would do in the wall competition. Ava does at one point ask if Lauren wants to work with Rachel. And Lauren's saying, I just don't really, I don't know if I want to work with her or not. I want to get into her head. I want to figure out a little bit more about Rachel because I just don't feel like I know her that well. Well, you may get your chance this week, Lauren. But Ava is talking again about keeping your mouth shut and everything. Ava's saying it is bad luck to talk about your nominations before they're actually locked in. Here, Ava. I'm glad someone's saying it. She also says that people in this house this season just don't know how to keep their mouths shut. Again, agreeing 100% with you, Ava. And that's when she says, you're probably going to go for Lauren because you understand what the other house guests do, that you don't always have to be talking and saying everything on your mind. You keep your mouth shut. I think that's going to help you going forward. All right, we've got Mickey and Morgan and Ashley talking in the backyard. Backyard finally opened up, so they're walking back and forth in the backyard. Ashley is saying, look, it's not a choice. There is no choice. You two have to be here next week. She's pushing hard to keep both of them. She says, I have absolute faith that Lauren will use the veto. I'm kind of thinking she won't, but let's see what happens. All right, we've got her talking about that. We've got Rachel and Ava and Kelly and Vince talking. Really not any game talk at that point in time. Just shooting the bull with a bunch of things. What HOH meals that were things that were left out of their baskets, things they'd want, things like that. Just a lot of uh, non-game conversation. Eventually, we have just Ava and Rachel talking. They're talking about how shook Mickey looked at the nominations. That she maybe really wasn't expecting to be on the block. Rachel is saying, "I just don't understand why she turned on me the way she did. She didn't have to. She did though, and now she's paying the price." And Rachel saying, if Mickey, maybe should have known it. She said, Mickey turned on Jimmy. If Mickey could turn on Jimmy like that, why won't she turn on me the same way? So maybe I shouldn't be so surprised that she turned on me. All right, we've got Ashley and Morgan talking a little bit. Morgan is saying that she's playing the game. She's she's so giving. Morgan is saying that she's playing the game for multiple people in this house. That if she was just playing the game for herself only, a lot of her votes and gameplay so far this year would be completely different. And it's just that she's trying to protect so many other people that sometimes affects her a little bit. Morgan at one point says she's fine taking a shot at Lauren. If she can just survive this week, she'll take a shot at Lauren. She doesn't think other people in the house will. She'll go after Lauren. Morgan's also saying that if, again, pushing the Keanu renom, she's telling Ashley, saying, if Keanu's the renom this week, I'm going streaking in the backyard. I'll be that happy for it to happen. And then finally, we've got Ashley and Rachel talking. Ashley is asking, she's worried about the renom. Rachel's not giving her any information. She finally says, Rachel, am I the renom? If there's a veto used, am I the renom? Rachel says no. And then she says, well, is it someone that you want to go home that would be your renom? And Rachel says, well, if I'm putting them up as the renom, then yes, they would be someone that I would want to go home, Ashley. So again, Ashley trying to push to figure out who could potentially be a renom, use that as she tries to get Lauren to use the veto on her. Rachel's not giving her a lot of information. Rachel knows better than that. And finally, everyone's in bed except for Vince, who is doing laundry and just piddle paddling around. Eventually, Vince is in bed about 6 o'clock or so, Big Brother time. We don't have anything else going on today, so I'm sure Big Brother will let the guests meditate or nap or whatever they're calling it now. If not, it's going to be a long day for Vince because he went to bed super late. But Vince in bed around 6 o'clock or so. And with that, we're going to call it a wrap and see what happens today. So again, the main thing is just, will Lauren use it? Will she not use it? I don't think she'll use it. Some fractions, people trying to position themselves for weeks following and all of that. But mainly it's all about what's Lauren going to do, not just now, but also if she is a swing vote on Thursday. Again, it's going to be a long week for Lauren. All right, guys, y'all have a great Sunday. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow morning. Until then, SKD 143. Cheers, my friends. Bye.